support plan with what we call the what really is it?
Your individual support plan?
Yeah.
Well, it's a big piece of information that guides basically what you like to do in life, what interests you, what goals you have. And you do a great job of advocating for yourself with your individual support plan and making sure you have stated in there things that are accurate that you enjoy doing.
We are going to talk about how important it is to update it and the fact that anything you want can be in there as long as you write it the right way. And this happened because I had an experience about a week ago that prompted me to have to rewrite my whole entire support plan because, believe it or not, it has not been updated in a while. So I thought I better be on here and tell you that A, you better check it, and B, it's okay to update and advocate for yourself. So the way I like to update mine is first I want to ask my case manager for the most updated copy of the whole thing, not the service monitoring, the whole 22-page document that has with your medical history and your discharge and your routine and all that. Once you have that in your hand, I recommend going through it and reading it, but have your computer or your screen reader on your phone read it to you, because there's a lot of vocabulary in there that goes way over my head, mainly because it is my government language. So have your computer read it, and then once you have your computer read it, then you can go and below each paragraph, what I like to do is I like to say update, and then I highlight it in names and do one of those colon things that, the colon thing, and then I write whatever I want to update below the original paragraph. I never like to update the actual paragraph because I like the case manager to see what they had originally wrote, because I feel like that is like a light bulb in their head that says, oh, I was wrong about that, or oh, I didn't understand my individual. Another thing that I've done in the past, if you don't want to do the paragraph by paragraph update, is I use Hoarding the Whiteboard with an online program which I'll put down below, and they have planning documents specifically for your ISP. Now, one thing that I learned when you do that, which you can be aware of, is that doesn't actually make it into your original document. That makes it into what they call an appendix, which is basically about a PDF document that you're attaching to the email. And I learned that because I had a buffer Hoarding the Whiteboard document to my case manager that never got put in. The actual government document was never updated. And why is this so important? Well, one, you want to make sure that if your new family are reading it, they have the most updated information. Two is you have the right to advocate, and I don't know what else. Why else is it important?
Well, I think it's important because, as you stated, it's a guiding document. So the way I've seen it happen, Anna, you do a great job of advocating for yourself as an adult. I also have other individuals that maybe aren't verbal, or their parents are helping support their individual support plan and come up with goals.
Mm-hmm.
And so as a personal care assistant supporting those individuals, it's helpful to see the ISP, because then I can see what goals they're working on.
Right.
So for example, I'm a recreational therapist. I go out into the community a lot with my clients. You know what that looks like for you.
Right.
You can tell me how I can support you in the
Right.
community. But some of my clients can't tell me the best way to support them in the community. So reading their ISP and knowing what's in it can help guide maybe the activities that we choose to do, or how we approach those activities.
Yeah. And tell you how your services are provided for you. So, I remember if I want Haiti does for me to edit my video, you know, I have it in there, it's okay, you know, and my button covered from my ISP, like, as long as you can notify everything in your ISP, you're gonna be okay. But if you're looking at an out of date document, who knows the next time you're gonna be audited from your support agency or whatever. I don't know how often that happens, but let's say it did. It was outdated, like you only had so at your report staff, and you actually had more than that one person, that could be a problem. Or like and you're not active in the community or something, and you were moving out in the community, who knows, that could be a problem. I never had that happen to me, but like, what if it did, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I think that's why I'm making this video to remember that I hear so many stories at once. Oh, I had that document in the appendix. Well, appendices don't work. I learned that literally a week ago. I don't know why they don't work, but they don't work. So, read your ISP in the whole and do the paragraph by paragraph highlighting update, like I told you, and read it with your computer so that you don't have to read like big names, and then have somebody else read it over it if you don't feel like you are the person to do that. But that doesn't, I'm not saying you have to just really, you have to have someone read it. You don't. I'm saying like, if you want that, go for it. And if you're a parent, like, you have the opportunity to ask for it. You can ask for your ISP anytime you want. Doesn't have to be only when you're support coordinator comes. So the next this video is really, I wanted to talk to you about making notes and how to write them. And I have no experience in that. Haiti has a lot of professional experience in that, I feel like.
So I feel like as a recreational therapist, some in the waiver world, which is what Anna's talking about related to an individual support plan, but also in other areas of recreational therapy, writing goals is a big part of that. And again, making sure that individual support plan is goals that you as an individual, in your case, Anna, or that you as a family may be supporting your young person or your child, has goals that really speak to their interests. So an example that I've noticed, Anna, is your support plan you shared with me when I was hired with you, so that was helpful. And kind of speaking back to what you were talking about in relation to what's in it versus what you're actually doing. As you said, that individual support plan not only guides your interest and what you can put down for your hours as your support staff helping you with, but it's also things then that we can document and log when we check out of our services with you, saying, yes, we actually went into the community, or yes, we actually played video games and worked on fine motor skills or social connection.
Well, we built a cabinet, independent, and like my independent life is actually in there, you know.
Yep, which is awesome. And so we're talking about support plans, Anna, and I mentioned video games. That was an experience that you had. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on how your video game goal went into your support plan and why?
So, many of you probably know, if you see me, you know who I am. I also have a video game, YouTube channel, centered around adapted video game. And I have this neat setup, but it requires another person to help set up the button, help me put the button in the right place, either on my chair, on the table, and sometimes in order for me to be a regular 25-year-old who plays video games, I need to be able to keep up with all the able-bodied. Here's my brain, don't come at me at the moment for using able-bodied, but I need to keep my ability to maintain interaction with able-bodied at the right point. In Fortnite, if you don't play fast enough, you instantly die. So I had a whole private mode about somebody else to take the control and hit the button that you can't, or aim you in the right direction, for example. And I was like, well, if my support has spending some of their time already with that, and with button programming, which I can link that video down below, like, why isn't it in my ISP? So I decided to put it in my ISP. I'm one, being hopeful with someone, two, it's adapted technology, and three, it's debatable, but in my opinion, it's occupational therapy and cognitive development. I started knowing my left and right and other things that nature as well, and learning that helped me in my real adult life beyond the video game thing. So I knew I wanted to put it in my ISP, but I was nervous to do so because, you know, I feel like a lot of people have a lot of nerves around moving the government any information, you know. It's almost like more public theater when we're disabled, if that makes sense. So I had to figure out what I actually wanted to put in and what I'm okay with data being put out, you know. So.
That was also a prime example where Anna, as an individual, advocated for herself, did her research, created kind of her goals, and then she came to me as one of her support staff and said, hey, will you read over this? Does this make sense? Is there anything we should add? And so that was a space where we could work together on that, and then she submitted that forward then to her support coordinator to be included in her plan.
I feel like you never want to word anything right wrong, too, in your support plan, anything to do. You know, you never want to do that, and you never want to put any information that you don't want data collected on.
Yeah.
You know, I talked about doctor's appointment on here and how I feel about that, you know.
Yeah. Another thing that I think you're really good at, Anna, is you have, with your support staff, you have quite a few occupational therapy, physical therapy, you have rec therapy now. But you have quite a few different students and professionals that are supporting you. And so you do a good job once you have an idea of kind of using them as resources for more information or making sure you've, you know, included the right goals that you want. And for those of you that might not have access to caregivers who are in other roles such as that, you can always, you know, go to your doctors and nurses that might be offering you your OT or PT services if you want to run your support plan or any thoughts that you have around goals through that. At the end of the day, as Anna mentioned, this all started because of video games for her. Really, if you have an interest or something that improves your quality of life or well-being that you just simply enjoy doing, there's always going to be some way that you can write a goal around it that can be then put into your support plan. And I feel like with you, Anna, video gaming was a big part of your
Mhm.
social connection, your interest, things you like to do. How was that? Was it hard to find goals that fit that, or was that pretty easy for you?
I think the hardest thing was writing it and then not putting it in the thing that would make me move my benefit. You know, that would be the fear from parents and from individuals too. Like when I saw my plan outdated, oh my God, thank God I know that.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's kind of like what I have about when I am writing any video game or not. It's like I want to maintain the highest level of services possible, but I also want the minimum data out there,
Yep.
you know, on my way. I don't need after that it's like a mobile item
Yep.
with his minimal hub.
Yep.
You know?
Some other experiences that I've seen that have been noted in individual support plans have been things like using your AAC, so encouragement of AAC use. That doesn't apply to you, Anna, but that might apply to other individuals. Or things like using your mobility equipment and working on orientation and mobility. So working on a routine or a certain route you're trying to learn. And so those are things too that can be used both in your ISP and on my end of caregiving support, being able to document those are things we're working on. So we might go out into the community, for example, and use our gait trainer and work on at the botanical gardens, learning the route to get to the children's area, for example.
Right.
So there's a lot of different ways to put your interest into your individual support plan and then put actual measurable goals that can be, attainable in there as well. So, orientation and mobility, working on fine motor skills, things like routines, using your AACs consistently.
Well, I mean, like using the kitchen and cooking.
Yep, independence in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or like you said, learning about and using your adaptive equipment. That's something that as an adult you're really good at. You did the research, you found the tools, you figured out how to adapt them to your equipment. Whereas some of my younger clients or individuals who might have children, that might be a place where as a caregiver I'm supporting you. I also fill another role with a waiver called a community specialist. So I'm really connected in our community, and if a family, for example, might have an interest maybe in exploring a new camp or opportunity for their kid to be involved with different peers, that's a specialized area that I can then do research on and maybe find a program and help parents find those resources.
Mm-hmm.
But with you, Anna, you're really good at that independence of, hey, I want accessible tools for video game playing. Let's figure out what I can get for my wheelchair and what that looks like.
Yeah, and then also like on top of that, I told you to apparently a waiver can cover that too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until way after the fact.
Yeah, and I don't personally know all the ins and outs of that, but I know depending on, the state that you're in and what kind of waiver you have, equipment can be supported, and I think it's supported up to a certain dollar amount. So yeah, like you said, Anna, in your case, if you wanted to buy some of those adaptations to your wheelchairs or to your wheelchair to support holding your control, or if you wanted to buy, maybe even a certain type of control or adaptive system that helps your video gaming system be accessible to you, those things can be used.
Another reason why updating your support plan matters. And also I told other people that I look for in an advocacy mode, not YouTube. But like in an advocacy mode, I would be like, oh, like it's not in your support plan. You can't really hold your half accountable for not doing the thing. But like, and I feel like not accountable, like mad, but like you can literally something you do and they're not listening to you, and you're your own audience and they're still not doing the task that you want done. Make your life the best life it can possibly, be. The plan is kind of out there to help you do that.
Yep, it's a great guiding document.
Way to say, well, in my ISP, I can easily know my minimum I wanted. I mean, you're not how and not I never done this, but how and not doing this. Can you talk to them?
Not supporting me properly.
Yeah, they hate minimum have everybody's number. You know, based on the you have that's another way if you can advocate for yourself, or maybe you're new at this, you always have that backbone too.
Yeah. I mean, hearing you talk about that, Anna, that makes me think it's kind of comparable to a job description. When you apply to a job, there's a list of duties that they need you to do, and I think an individual support plan kind of is similar. It's your specific things that you've identified as an individual or as a family supporting an individual that you want to work on. And again, and when you have your support staff that are hired, if there's any questions, about what you're doing or how you're doing it or your approach to it, you can use that as a guiding document. I want community involvement. I want to explore new leisure and recreation activities. I want to use technology to gain more independence. So yeah, it can be used in that way.
And it may offer you an employment too.
Yeah.
I think people do that. We hope this video was helpful. I feel like it was.
We'll see.
And if it was, make it because everybody helped me. And comment down below any questions you may have. I will try and answer them.